So in this video, we're going to bring up our packet broker, the cVu400NG platform. And to do that, we're going to start off after Powerup by connecting to the serial ports to provide initial configuration and settings. So to do that, the first thing that we need to do is connect the provided serial cable to our PC, and we need to then run a terminal program. So here I'm going to be using PuTTY in serial mode. So the first set of settings that we need to configure are the baud rate and data bits, stop bits, parity, and flow control for the connection between the PC and the broker, the cVu. So our baud rate is 115/200, 8 data bits, 1 stop bit, parity none, and flow control none. Additionally to that, we also need to set up how the returned characters from the terminal appear on the screen. And we can do that with our window settings and specifically looking at our translation. And we want to make sure that we have the required translation so that we're using the correct character set of an ISO character set. Finally, the last thing we need to do is we need to tell the terminal how to connect the keyboard. And we can do that with our sessions values for the terminal and keyboard. And again, make sure that we've got the correct settings for the Xterm, and make sure that all the cursor keys, etc., are mapped from the UI into the application so that the serial port connects and works. Once we've done that, we can click apply, and we should now be able to connect and talk to our cVu broker. So again, I can hit carriage return, and you can see I'm getting the response back from the CLI. So here now we can actually type in help, and we can get our set of commands that we want to run. We have a lot of configuration around the network interface, our network timing protocol, DHCP, etc. is all configured through the CLI. If we want to know what our current settings are, then we can just do show_network. And that will then give us our current settings. So we can see here our IP address is 172.16.55.100. By default, it will be set to a static IP address. So you'll probably need to get the console up and running so you can do that. If you want to change that address now, we can do that very simply just by typing in the command IP_address. Type in the new IP address, so 172.16.55. This particular case, I'm going to use 11. The subnet mask, which is going to be 255.255.0.0, and the gateway address, so 172.16.255.254. So this particular case is not a valid gateway address, but we're just going to change that just to check that it works. Okay, and you can see the console's come back and told me that the IP address has been changed. And again, we can do our show network to confirm that IP address has changed. Yes, it has. We can also do other things like switch on DHCP by using DHCP _enable yes or no. And the same with NTP if we wanted to turn that on, if we were using that and we had a valid local gateway. So we could do NTP _enable yes and no. So basically that concludes the initial configuration via the serial port. And now you can see we have an IP address. So we should now be able to actually bring up that IP address on our system and connect to that IP via the web UI. So I'll bring up a new browser window, and we can now open that. So we'll type in our address, so 172.16.55.11. Okay, and we should be able to click enter, and there is our browser. So now we can actually connect and log into our system using the default username and password, but effectively we've now configured the IP address and powered up the unit for the first time, and we can now connect and talk to our cVu NG packet broker.